Hi guys, and welcome back to another video where today we're going to be predicting the scores of not football in any no European competition here. We are actually going to be predicting the scores for the NBA 2020 playoff bracket. Now, my knowledge of basketball
it's improving.
Yeah, but it's pretty much non-existent. I have been watching a little bit of the basketball over the past few weeks
since its return,
on Sky, but I don't really know a lot of the players. I'm not that well clued up on teams or anything like that, so yeah, it's going to be sort of a dip in the ocean or like put a finger in the wind for me. But yeah, Nathan, we're going to be making these predictions now. Can you give us a little bit of insight before we make this this prediction?
So essentially, we're going to be going through the bracket, saying who's going to win in each spot and how many games they're going to win it by. Of course, as many of our viewers don't actually watch basketball, I imagine. It's the first team to win 4 matches that goes through to the next round, so they can play a maximum of 7 games and a minimum of 4. So we're basically predicting how many games they're going to play and who's going to win the most games and the score of that.
Yeah, it looks like we're sort of, if this was World Cup, we were in the round of 16, then quarterfinals, then semi-finals, and then finals.
And the finals, correct.
So we start off at, you could say, the round of 16 stage. And as we're actually doing this on Monday evening, there is the first match has actually taken place, and currently with just over 4 minutes to play, the Jazz, or Utah Jazz, are up 102 points to 98 over the Denver Nuggets.
Going really down to crunch time in that match at the moment.
Yeah, but let's just get on with it and make the predictions.
Okay, so first up, we're going to start with the relatively weaker Eastern Conference, as most people do. But first up, we have the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Orlando Magic. Milwaukee finishing top of the division. Haven't won the title since 1971. I believe only won 1 title in their history. Giannis Antetokounmpo, MVP candidate this year, of course. Also up for Defensive Player of the Year. He was, of course, MVP last season as well. And second in the league in rebounds as well. Chris Middleton and Dante DiVincenzo have had good seasons as well, along with Kyle Korver, of course. Eric Bledsoe, apparently he's injured, which is a massive blow to them, really. And also their head coach, Mike Budenholzer, nominated for Coach of the Season as well. But they have been struggling for form, to be fair. Lost 9 games in their last 13. Not good at all. They're coming up against an Orlando Magic side. Never won the title before. Haven't been in the finals since 2009. And saying that, they haven't won a playoff series since 2010. So it's looking very, very grim for the Magic, to be honest. Even though with their squad, Nikola Vucevic, Aaron Gordon and Markelle Fultz, I don't think they'll be able to make something happen. I'm going for a Bucks win in this one. This is going to be a clean sweep, 4-0.
Yeah, as you said, Nathan, Milwaukee Bucks this season, I think they're top of the form table. Well, not top of the form table,
definitely not.
But their record for this season
is top of
the league. Orlando Magic. Okay, I think over prior seasons they haven't been at their best, from what I can remember. So yeah, I think Bucks are going to win this series as well. But I'm going to go for 4-1. I'm going to give Orlando Magic a game in this one, but yeah, I think the Bucks will probably go something like 3-0 up, and Orlando will get a game back. But 4-1 to the Bucks for me. So next up, we got the Pacers against the Heat. Now, I know that the Heat are strongly fancied in this match. I think there's a little bit of a rivalry in there
there's a bit of a rivalry between Jimmy Buckets and TJ Warren.
I think there's some like who's blowing kisses, and there's some memes online about that sort of thing. But so it's going to be competitive. Will there be players sent off, and thrown out of the game in some of these matches? So over the season, Pacers just above the Heat, of course, but I think in this one I'm going to actually go for a Pacers win, which will probably get a lot of hate in
loads of hate
in the comment section. And what are you saying? What are you doing? But I'm not going to give it to the Pacers. 4-3 for me in this one.
But yeah, Pacers, no titles, haven't been in the finals since 2000, so pretty average team. Good to see them getting this playoffs, really. Whereas Miami Heat, Bosh, Wade, James back in the day, last one in 2013. Building quite a strong team that's going to be scary in some years to come. Butler and Adebayo in the front course. Of course, Butler coming from the 76ers this season. Along with the free agents coming in as well. Tyler Hero being drafted at 15th position. Along with Kendrick Nunn and Duncan Robinson. Of course, Kendrick Nunn could be Rookie of the Year this season. Saying that, Miami as well. First team in NBA history to have 2 undrafted players averaging over 13 points a game, which is quite something. But anyway, I follow the Heat. I have for many years. It's got to be a Heat win for me, and I'm going to say a solid 4-2.
Yeah, didn't LeBron James, wasn't he instrumental in...
He was,
the title wins as well?
Yeah, many of the title wins.
That's probably about the sum of my knowledge, really.
Including Bosh and Wade as well, but they did drop off after LeBron got traded back to the Cavaliers, of course, where we got British player Luol Deng in his place, which is interesting.
Superb.
Next up, we've got a very tasty fixture between the Celtics and 76ers. Celtics getting stronger this season, getting Kemba Walker from the Charlotte Hornets. What a signing that was. Whereas Philadelphia 76ers got a solid team, but that's going to be disbanded, especially when Ben Simmons, I imagine, is going to go to the Chicago Bulls, which is quite a good signing for them as well. Saying that, Boston Celtics with the 7'5" Taco Fall, ridiculous player.
He's not very nimble on his feet.
Not very nimble at all. He moves like a wet napkin at times, but
it's a bit harsh.
Yeah, it is a bit harsh, but I think he's going to do something in the future for them. But
isn't it his first season as well?
Yeah, it's his first season in the league. To be honest, this could go either way. Likes of Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons with Al Horford as well for the 76ers. Could produce anything, but I just think the Boston Celtics, with their front court, as well as Kemba Walker in the backcourt, I just think they're going to do too well, and this is going to go to a 4-3, I reckon, to the Celtics.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you on this one, Nathan. I think the Celtics will get through this part of the bracket against the 76ers. Philadelphia haven't actually beaten Boston in the playoffs since 1982 as well.
Insane.
Whether that makes any difference to that, or mentally, maybe. As you say, I think, is it the Boston Celtics' best player, or is Kemba Walker?
Yep.
And coming from the Hornets, I think you just mentioned that anyway. Boston Celtics, of course, winning the most titles of any NBA team as well, 17 titles. So, yeah, they've been playing pretty good throughout the season, I think, Boston. And so I'm going to go for a 4-2 win for the Celtics.
Interesting.
Final series on this side of the bracket, we see Toronto Raptors against the Brooklyn Nets. Of course, the Toronto Raptors are the reigning NBA champions, so very strong again this season. Coming up against a Nets team who've got the likes of Jarrett Allen, Karis LeVert as well, I think it is. Okay, Kevin Durant is actually out injured for the series.
Well,
Do you think he'll be
basically
back in?
most of their team is out out for the bubble, of course. Durant, former MVP, Kyrie Irving, ridiculous. Spencer Dinwiddie as well.
DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, DeAndre Jordan. Basically, their entire starting five is out, aside from Jarrett Allen, of course.
So it could actually be a shutout from the Raptors in this one, 4-0. But
it could indeed.
I'm going to give the Nets a couple of games in this one. So I'm going to go for a 4-2 series win for the Raptors.
Interesting. I've gone for a Raptors sweep in this one, 4-0. Likes of Kyle Lowry, Pascal Siakam, of course, and Serge Ibaka, who was the most improved player of last season. Well, Nick Nurse, what a wonderful job he did last season. Won the title in his first season in the NBA, which is just ridiculous. But yeah, I think this is going to be a Raptors 4-0. I think they'll won't be as strong without Kawhi Leonard, of course, Finals MVP from last year. But I think they're going to go for a run.
Yeah, this is the playoffs as well. So, and Toronto, their form, just looking at their form on the screen, 25-5 over the last 32 games. That's phenomenal.
That's amazing.
In something like basketball or baseball, I presume.
Okay, so now we've done the East, we're moving on to the West, and first up we've got the Lakers versus the Portland Trailblazers. Now, LA Lakers, phenomenal this season. Won over 50 games this season. Best team in the West, of course. LeBron James, of course, MVP candidate and the assist leader this season. Great signing this season in Anthony Davis as well, coming from the Pelicans. Defensive Player of the Year, he might win as well. Along with a good signing in veteran Dwight Howard as well. He's a class player too. Meanwhile, the Portland Trailblazers sneaking into the playoffs ahead of the Memphis Grizzlies after those playing games. Damian Lillard's been fantastic in the last few matches, alongside CJ McCollum and Carmelo Anthony as well. Of course, you can't forget Hassan Whiteside as well, who got traded from the Heat this season, and he's the leader in blocks and all. Saying that with the Lakers making their first postseason appearance since 2013 as well, and with LeBron, the oldest player to ever average over 10 assists a game, which is amazing. This one could be close, I reckon, with the way Portland have been playing recently. Lillard's been on another planet. But yeah, I'm probably going to say a Lakers 4-2 in this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Lakers are going to win this one, as you say. LeBron James getting a little bit long in the tooth now, but still producing the goods on the court. So
36 years old.
Yeah, he is. So must be entering the end of his career fairly soon. As you say, Nathan, Lillard for Trailblazers been excellent. I think he scored at least 60 points in at least 2 games this season as well, or twice.
Second ever player to only do that as well.
Which is absolutely fantastic, phenomenal scoring there. I'm going to go for the Lakers. I'm going to go for a 4-1 series victory in this one. Next up, we got the Houston Rockets up against the Oklahoma Thunder. Difficult one to predict this one, I think. So, yeah, the Rockets in the past, I think the last 3 seasons, they've actually got through this stage. However, I think the Thunder are going to rain on their parade in this one, which may be a shock to a lot of people, I presume. So I'm going to go for a 4-3 series victory for Oklahoma Thunder in this one and shock everybody.
Wow. I happily and completely disagree with you on this one. I mean, James Harden, I hope he wins MVP this year. He's been phenomenal, top scorer in the league, of course. Highest average points per game, I think 34 points a game, something like that. Russell Westbrook, what a signing that was. Coming from the Oklahoma City Thunder, of course, being traded for CP3. Still producing a CP3 as well, but Oklahoma City had a terrible off-season last year, but they're still producing. I believe their head coach in Billy Donovan is up for coach of the season as well, alongside the Bucks and and Nick Nurse of the Raptors as well. Got some good players, the Thunder as well. Gilgeous Alexander along with Steven Adams as well, and Dennis Schroeder, who's up for 6th man of the year. So it's ex-Rocket versus ex-Thunder going up against each other in Westbrook and Chris Paul. So yeah, this is a very tasty lineup, but I'm going to say a solid Rockets 4-1 in this one. No way will the Thunder win it.
We shall see anyway.
We shall see. Next up, we have probably the most interesting one of the bracket yet, between the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz. Next up, we have the tastiest tie probably of the bracket between the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz. This game's going on right now, and it's actually gone to overtime, tied at 115 all, which is insane. Denver Nuggets never won the title, no finals appearances either, whereas the Utah Jazz last got there in 1998. I think they've had 2 appearances as well. Nikola Jokic from Serbia's had a great season as well. Jamal Murray and Paul Millsap around him, along with youngster Bol, who got drafted this year as well.
That's a great name.
Quality name. He's going to be something in the future. He's been impressive since the restart has happened, of course. They made the conference semi-finals as well last year, so they're building something, Denver, especially around Jokic as well, who looks like a class player. Jazz, you got Rudy Gobert as the Defensive Player of the Year nominee, along with Donovan Mitchell, who's been great as well. Bogdanovic injured, though, so that might put a burden on them a little bit, but this one's going to go either way. You could see the Jazz win it, but I don't know, I think the Nuggets might just sneak through in a 4-2.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Nathan. I'm actually going to go for 4-2 as well. They have gone into overtime this evening, so it would be interesting who gets sort of first dibs or first blood in this series. But yeah, I'm going for a Nuggets 4-2 victory. Next up, we've got the final of this first round of 16, or the first bracket, and that is the Clippers against the Mavericks. Now, the Clippers have never won the NBA title, and the Mavericks have just secured 1 title in their history, which was back in 2011. Tough one to call. This one could be a close series match, but I am going to go for the Clippers.
Interesting.
Because overall I think they've been excellent.
Yeah.
You can say that the little that I have seen of them, but a lot of people have been tipping these guys to go all the way to the final. I think the Lakers are the only team in the Western Conference. Conference?
Yeah.
In the Western Conference to have a better record than this season. So yeah, I'm going to go for a Clippers victory in this one, 4-2.
Interesting. I think this one's going to be a tight game. I mean, LA Clippers got the likes of Kawhi, of course, MVP last year in the finals, along with another great signing in Paul George as well. And then Dallas Mavericks, known for their international players, of course, Hall of Famer Dirk Nowitzki as well. Retired, of course, and then you've got Luka Doncic, Rookie of the Year at the moment from last year. Most Improved Player of the Year nominee as well.
And they've also got Steph Curry's younger brother, I believe.
Indeed, traded from Portland.
Not Steph, but Seth.
Yeah,
just moved the T and the E around.
Exactly.
His parents. So.
Yeah, and saying that as well, also signed Kristaps Porzingis as well, 7'3" monster from the Knicks. What a signing that was. Great European duo there as well. Doncic has been unbelievable though recently, averaging almost a triple-double in the bubble and a 20-rebound triple-double. How do you even do that? That's ridiculous. But yeah, I think this one's going to go to a Game 7 and the Clippers will just edge it 4-3. Okay, so next up we're moving on to the conference semi-finals. Now, first up for mine, I got Bucks Heat, of course. Milwaukee, I got a feeling they're going to do it. I think it's a bit too early for Miami to push for the finals at the moment, even though they're probably going to steal Giannis Antetokounmpo in 2021 when he goes for free agency. If that, he's going to go to the Warriors. So I think, yeah, the Bucks need to do it within the next 2 seasons if they want to win it. Too early for Miami, but I think they're going to shock them a little, and I think it's going to be 4-2 in this one.
Yeah, the Bucks, they are top of the Eastern Conference as well. I know that their form has suffered recently. They will get through against Orlando Magic, who haven't really been rated over the past few years. They're coming up against Pacers, team that I don't think many people are given much hope, apart from myself, who I think we are going to beat the Heat, which is going to be a shock in itself. And I think this is going to be probably the shock of the season. I'm actually going to go for a 4-1 victory for the Pacers over the Bucks. I just think the form of the Bucks is terrible, whereas the Pacers has been okay. It's going to shock everybody. If this comes off, it'll be a miracle, I know. But I am going to go for a Pacers victory. Maybe the Bucks took their foot off the gas because they knew that they were in the playoffs, giving players a rest. But yeah, I'm going to go for a Pacers 4-1 victory. Moving on to the next quarterfinal, you could say. We've got the Celtics against the Raptors. Excellent sort of series of games, this one. Toronto, as we've already said, NBA champions.
Are they missing Kawhi too much? That's the
possibly
question.
Celtics, great pedigree over the years as well, so it's going to be a very, very exciting series of matches. But I'm going to go for the Raptors in this one 4-2. I fancy them. Interesting.
I've got exactly the same as you with the series as well, but I think the Celtics are just going to edge through. I think Kemba Walker in the playoffs, he never usually reaches there with the Charlotte Hornets. So he's going to be on fire, I reckon. Along with Tatum and Hayward, he's going to be superb. I think Nick Nurse and the Raptors are going to miss Kawhi in this one, especially even though the likes of Ibaka and Siakam are going to perform along with Kyle Lowry as well, who I think will have another good one. But yeah, I think it's going to be 4-2 to the Boston Celtics. Moving back over to the West, I have got the Lakers versus the Rockets. This one could be tight between Harden and Westbrook versus LeBron and Anthony Davis, of course. 3-pointers against 3-pointers against the heavy hitting in the paint. But yeah, it's got Lakers. I can see the Lakers winning this one. I think the Rockets just won't have enough. The Lakers have got the depth. They've got the front court. They'll just have enough. So I'm going to go for a 4-2 in the Lakers-Rockets game. Yeah, I'm going to go for an exact same scoreline for you. But you've
got the Rockets. I've gone for the Thunder. I think Thunder, that's probably that's their season over and done with. They've reached that stage, and they're going to pull it out of the bag against the Rockets. Who you fancy? But I'm going to go for a Lakers victory in this one, which, as you said, the heavy hitters are going to just dominate this one. So I've gone for a 4-2 victory. Next up, in the next bracket, we've gone for the Nuggets against the Clippers. Nuggets playing this evening. They're actually, as we speak, live. They're up 123 to 115 over the Jazz. So it looks like the Nuggets are going to, take their first step with a points victory here. But you never know. That could still all change. There's still a couple of minutes left in that match. Coming up against Clippers, highly fancied throughout basketball fans, so it's going to be tight. It's going to go to 7 games altogether. I'm just going to edge the Clippers in this one. I'm going for a 4-3 series win for the Clippers over the Nuggets.
Interesting. In this one, I've actually got a 4-1. I think the Clippers are going to dominate in this one. I think they're just going to run out of steam. The Clippers have ridiculous squad depth. They have the players in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard to get through. I think they're just going to run out of steam the Nuggets. There's just too much quality on the Clippers side, so 4-1 for me. Moving over to the conference final in the East, for me, I have got the Bucks versus the Celtics. Interesting match. But I think Giannis, he's going to do it. He's going to want to get a title with the Bucks before his contract runs out in 2021. So I'm going to give it to the Bucks. They're going to finally get to the finals, and for the first time as well since 1974.
So in this sort of semi-final, or actually the final of the Eastern Conference, of course, have gone for the outsiders, you could say, the Pacers against Toronto. I think Toronto are going to be too strong for the Pacers in this one. I'm going to go for a 4-1 victory to the Raptors. Bucks, who everyone's, as you say, Nathan, you think they're going to reach the final. But I think it's just going to take the toll on them this season. Running out of steam, the Bucks. So that's why I went for the Pacers in the last round. So Toronto Raptors are going to recreate what they did last season, get to the final with a 4-1 victory over the Indiana Pacers. And next we had back over to the West, where we've got the Lakers and the Clippers.
LA Derby
in the final. LA Derby down there in Orlando, of course, at the Disney Center in Disneyland.
ESPN World
in Disney. So exciting times. Unfortunately, there's going to be no fans at this, or very little fans in attendance. Tough one to call, but I think the highly fancied Clippers are going to get through in a humdinger of a series, and I think with age on the wrong side of the Lakers, I can see the Clippers winning this one 4-3.
I've gone for a Game 7 as well, and I've gone to the Clippers like yourself. I just think with the squad depth for the Clippers, even though the Lakers have it with the likes of Dwight Howard, Rajon Rondo, of course, is injured, but I just think the Clippers will slightly edge it. They're going to finally get to an NBA Finals for the first time in their history, and they're going to beat their biggest rivals, the LA Lakers, 4-3. And here we go. We have now got the NBA Finals. For me, it's between the Clippers and the Bucks. Question is, who's going to win this one? Kawhi's going to do it again, I got a feeling. I think it's going to be 4-2 to the Clippers. Kawhi getting his second Finals MVP in a row as well. His third title as well, and that will be his third title with 3 different clubs as well. The Spurs, the Raptors and the Clippers now as well. And 2 of those clubs for the first time in both of their histories as well. So that'll be insane for both the Clippers and for Kawhi Leonard as well. So I'm going to say a 4-2 victory to the Clippers. Bucks, don't think they got it this year. If they can they're going to keep Giannis this season. If they can build on that, then they might win it in 2021 and say probably goodbye to Giannis after that. So 4-2 to the Clippers for me.
I've also gone for 4-2.
Interesting.
However, in my finals, I've got Toronto against the Clippers. Clippers getting there. I think they're going to win 2 games, but I think Toronto going to win it for the second year on the trot, which
so that's 2 out of 2 for Nick Nurse then.
So I know that other teams have done it like in the past,
back to back,
like such as the Chicago Bulls in the past,
Michael Jordan,
the likes of Miami Heat as well. So they've won back to back. So I'm going to go for a Toronto back to back, non-USA, of course. It's
interesting
once from again. Canada. Toronto 4, Clippers 2,
taking the trophy out of the America again. Yes.
So that concludes our predictions for the NBA bracket system, or the playoffs, you could say, of the 2020 season, Nathan. As I said, don't know an awful lot about the NBA, but I am learning. Excited to see some of these matchups as well. At the moment, as we say, I think there's only about a minute left in this first match.
14 seconds,
but the Nuggets are at 133 to 125. I had the Nuggets in this one as a 4-2, so we may see them go 1-up in the next 12 seconds. But Nathan, is there anything you'd like to add before we go for the evening?
So to my channel, link in description below. Also my Twitch is in the description below if you want to catch my live streams as well. In the description below, guys. So Nathan's actually organised this video this evening. He's done all the research, etc., as you can tell. But if there's any other sports you'd like to see predicted over the coming weeks before the football season, maybe we should have done the snooker, the World Championship over the past few weeks. Mine, that would have been easy. No point in that. Ronnie O'Sullivan, of course.
That's right. But if you'd like to see that, just leave that in the comments. Put also in the comments who you think is going to end up as NBA champions for the 2020 season. Maybe we'll come back and do a review of our scores when the finals takes place. I think it's in October, isn't it, Nick?
October 12th. It has to be done by October 12th in readiness for the draft.
Fantastic. So once again, guys, thanks for watching our NBA predictions. Leave us your comments and your predictions, and we'll see you in the next video.